Alright, so I'm going to go quickly through this lesson because actually this lesson ties very much into what we've already been doing. It's just looking at some other examples. So factor out the 2. So x squared minus 3x minus 18. My sum is negative 3x. My product is negative 18 squared. So I listed out my factors. And I got 3x and negative 6x. Plug those two in. Plug my first term, which is also called the lead term, so you might hear that sometimes, and my last term. Pull out my factors. And there's my answer. So that's like the ones we've been doing. Nothing really different or special about that, but we are going to look at a couple of examples where things are a little bit different or a little bit unique. So number 2 started off like this. There was nothing to pull out. 5 and negative 3 and negative 2, nothing to pull out. So my sum was negative 3, my product was negative 10. So I listed them out. I saw that it was 2x and negative 5x. So I filled out my little table. Now what's unique about this one is normally we have an x squared in that first box, but we can have something else. We can have a 5x squared or 10x squared, or we can have something with a coefficient. We hadn't really looked at, I'm trying to think if we looked at any examples, but if we have, we haven't looked at very many that have a coefficient. So it's the same process. Just this time, we have a coefficient for that lead term. Okay. All right, so those two have been very similar to what we've been looking into, been doing so far. And if I'm going too fast, just pause the video, get what you need to. So this one's a little different. So we notice that our setup has always been x squared and x and then a number. Or something similar. X squared, well, we don't have an x. It's like we skipped it. So I suggested to students today, well, let's plug it in with a 0. That doesn't change this at all. But now my sum is a 0 because I didn't have a sum. I didn't have a middle number. So 0 or 0x. It doesn't really matter if you put the x because it's the same thing. They all equal 0. My product is negative 25x squared. My possibilities was negative 1x and 25x, and negative 5 and 5, but negative 5 plus 5 does give me 0. Okay. So, plug it in. Now we get x plus 5 and x minus 5 as my two factors. So if we go back and look at number 1, there was 3 factors. 2 was a factor, x plus 3 was a factor, x minus 6 was a factor. We had 2 factors here. Here's a factor, here's a factor. Because remember, factors are things we multiply to get that number. For instance, for 6, 2 times 3 are factors. 6 times 1 are factors. Okay, so that's all we're doing is finding what we multiply. This one has 2 factors. Look at number 4 was also a different example. So I can see that I can pull out a 3. So I went ahead and pulled out that 3. My sum was a negative 3. My product was 25x squared. List out my 1x times 5x, 5x and 5x. But if I notice, none of these gave me a sum of negative 3. That means I can't factor it any further. This is as far as this one can go. And so that is our solution. It has 2 factors. This is a factor, and this is a factor. So anytime I can't find something that works for both of these, then I've already gone as far as I can. There's nothing else I can break it down. That's like when I have 6 and I get it down to 2 times 3, I can't break that down any further. Now 12, if I broke that down into 6 times 2, I could break that 6 further down. Okay, so we're trying to get it down to many factors as we can, break it down as much as possible. Which one is not a factor? I started out by pulling out the 3x. I'm noticing that some students are still not pulling out this x. So start with your coefficient, 3, 30, 27. Pull out the 3. And then look at my variable, x cubed, x squared, x. I can pull out the x. So my sum is 10x. My product is 9x squared. So listed my factors here, 1x, 9x, 3x, 3x. 1 and 9 gave me my 10. So my 3 factors are 3x, x plus 1, and x plus 9. So the other one that wasn't was x plus 3. All right, let's look at number 6. Number 6 is one of those unique where we don't have that sum. So some people visually, well, first of all, let's pull out the 4. Some people visually need to put that 0x there. And then if that's you, that's okay. So my sum is 0. 9x squared, I've got a couple of options to get that negative 9x squared. But 3 and negative 3, which matches B. Alright, if you need a little extra time to get that down, I understand I'm going pretty quickly. Mainly because I don't really think you need much more time on this. Alright, so let's look at this one. A toy shown below is made of several wooden blocks that fold together to form a rectangular prism or unfold to form a ladder. What expressions can be used to represent the dimensions of the toy when folded up? So when it's folded up, it makes a rectangular prism. Now, if you remember how to find volume of a prism, it's length times width times height. So I want to find those factors that when I multiply together will give me the volume. So I pull out my 6. And what I want you to do now is I want you to pause this video and I want you to see if you can finish this out. Find out the factors. When you've found out what the factors are, please push play and we'll go over it. Alright, hopefully you attempted this problem and you should have gotten that our dimensions were 6x, x plus 1, and x plus 2. Because if I multiply these 3 together, it's going to give me our volume. Alright. Number 8, I want you to go ahead and try number 8 on your own. When you're done, I want you to pause the video, and when you're done, push play, and we'll go over it. Alright, hopefully you did it. I did it down here at the bottom. So my sum was 7x. Product was negative 8x. So those are my 2, my lead, my end. And so I get 4x minus 1. Well, A and C have 4x plus 1. And x plus 2, which matches B. So B is correct. Alright, if you haven't turned in 12.3 homework, I need it. And they have homework over the weekend, 12.4. If you have any questions, please send them my way. I'm better at responding to email over the weekend. Alright, you have a good weekend.